Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning everyone. Now we will start presenting on the relationship study by group 5. Its members Marfuatun Adawiyah, Novi Rohaniatun, Indri Almira, Puja Nurhaliza, Bagus Fadilah, Lestariani, and the last is Jeffrey Anthony. Now I will start the first material. The first material is relationship study. A relationship study attempts to gain insight into variables or factors that are related to a complex variable. Some examples of complex variables are achievement, self-esteem, and self-concept. Two specific purposes. The first is suggest subsequent interest in establishing cause and effect between variables found to be related. They help researchers identify related variables for subsequent examination in causal, comparative, and experimental studies. The second is control for variables related to the dependent variable in experimental studies. Relationship studies give researchers information about what variables to control for in both causal, comparative, and experimental research studies.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Novi Rohaniatun. I want to present about conducting relationship studies. The word is identify a set of variables. You should have a reason for selecting variable in the study. A shotgun approach is inefficient and often misleading. The second, identifying an appropriate population of participants from which to select a sample. The population must be one for which data on each of the identified variables can be collected. The third, identify appropriate instrument for measuring each variable. Many relationship studies require the administration of one or more instruments. The fourth, collect data for each instrument from each subject. And the last, compute the appropriate correlation coefficient. Types of correlation coefficient. The type of correlation coefficient depends on the measurement level of the variable. The first is Pearson R, a measure of correlation appropriate when both variables to be correlated are expressed as continuous data, like math attitude and math achievement. The second is Spearman rule. If the data for at least one variable are expressed as rank or ordinal data, like rank in class and rank on a final exam. And the last is P-coefficient, is used when both variables can be expressed only in terms of a categorical dichotomy, such as gender and pass or fail status on a high-stakes test.
Linear and curvilinear relationship. Linear relationship plots of the scores on two variables are best described by a straight line. Linear relationship is referred to as the measure of relationship between two random variables with value ranging from -1 and +1. It is proportional to the covariance and can be interpreted in the same way as covariance. Linear relationship is used in the math score and science scores, teacher efficacy, and teacher effectiveness. Curvilinear relationship plots of score on two variables are best described by function. Curvilinear relationship is said to occur when the ratio of change between two variables is not constant. It can happen that as the value of one variable increases, similarly, the value of another variable increases. This will happen till a certain point, after which the increase in value of one variable will result in decrease in value of the other variable. Curvilinear is used in the age and athletic ability, anxiety, and achievement, estimated by the eta correlation.
Okay, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Puja Nur Hadiza. So in this video, I will explain the linear relationship. So linear relationship is a statistical term used to describe the relationship between variables and constants. Linear relationships can be expressed in graphical format where variables and constants are linked via strings, lines, or in mathematical format where the independent variable is multiplied by the slope coefficients and plus constant, which determines the dependent variables. An example here is like the score on two variables are best explained in a straight line. There is a math score and science score, and then teacher efficacy, and then effectiveness. I think that's enough from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Bagus Padilla. I am from Local A, English Education Department 2019. And here I want to explain about curvilinear relationships. I think curvilinear relationship is when two variables are related with each other. For example, the age and ability of athletes. Age and ability are compatible because the age increases the physical abilities quicker. The second example is anxiety and achievement. The lower the student's anxiety, the higher their achievement score. Curvilinear relationships, plots of scores on two variables, are best described by functions. The first is age and athletic ability, and the second is anxiety and achievement, estimated by the eta correlation. And the next slide, an example of a curvilinear relationship. The following is an example of a table image of a curvilinear relationship. The conclusion from this table is that more diligent students study, the higher score will be. I think that's enough from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, my name is Lestariani. So I will explain about factors that influence correlations. The first one is sample size. The larger the sample, the higher the likelihood of a high correlation. Analysis of subgroups. If the total sample consists of males and females, each gender represents a subgroup. Results across subgroups can be different because they are being obscured by the analysis of the data for the total sample. Reduce the size of the sample, potentially reduce variation in the scores. So, how does sample size affect correlation? It depends on the size of your sample. All other things being equal, the larger the sample, the more stable the obtained correlation. Because samples vary randomly, from time to time we will get a sample correlation that is much larger or small than the true population figure. So, the next presenter we will continue by Jeffrey Anton.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey Anthony, and now I would like to explain the factor that influence correlation. Well, you can see this slide, and there are variation. The greater the variation in scores, the higher the likelihood of a strong correlation. Next, the lower the variation in scores, the higher the likelihood of a weak correlation. Next, attenuation. Correlation coefficients are lower when the instruments being used have low reliability. The last is a correction for attenuation is available. I think that's enough from me. Next to the presenter. Thank you.